You ever feel like you're holding a powerful tool, but you just don't know how to use it? Well, today we're going to unpack one of the biggest, most foundational concepts in the Bible, faith. And we're not just scratching the surface here. We're going deep to unlock its full, untapped potential. So let's dive right in. So let's start with a really direct question. Are you living the life you were meant to live? You know, the source material we're looking at really zeroes in on this because it suggests that for a lot of people, there's this gap, right? A gap between the life you have and the one that's actually available to you. It's that feeling that there's got to be something more, something better, but you just can't quite put your finger on how to get there. And that quote from Joyce Meyer really hits the nail on the head. This is the core issue. The teaching we're exploring argues that so many believers aren't actually experiencing the benefits of their faith. And it's not because their faith isn't real. It's because they just don't really know how it works. It's like having a key to a massive inheritance, but nobody ever showed you which door to unlock. Okay, so when we talk about this inheritance, what are we really talking about? I mean, how big is it? Well, check out this number. 5,467. According to the research cited in the sermon, that is how many promises from God are in the Bible. I mean, think about that. Over 5,000 promises, covering pretty much every area of your life, just sitting there, waiting to be accessed. So the big question is, how? How do you actually do it? All right, so the very first step is to get on the same page about what we're even talking about. To unlock this power, we've got to move past just a simple, passive idea of belief and really dig into what faith truly is. And this slide, wow, it really lays out the most important distinction you need to understand. See, faith is not the price you pay to earn God's blessings. The sermon is so clear on this point. That price has already been paid, period. Instead, think of faith like this. It's simply the hand you reach out with to receive what's already been provided for you. It's not a currency you use to buy something. It's a mechanism you use to accept a gift. In fact, the Bible itself defines faith in a really interesting way. Hebrews 11:1 calls it a title deed. Think about that. A title deed is a legal document that proves you own something, right? So faith is the absolute certainty, the confirmation, the proof of the things you're hoping for, even when you can't see them with your own two eyes. It's all about seeing it as a done deal in your spirit long before it ever shows up in your life. Okay, so if faith is the hand that receives, the next logical question is, how do you actually use that hand, right? Let's get practical now and break down the action plan, how to actually put all this theory into practice. So the teaching we're pulling from lays out this really simple but incredibly powerful three-part framework. See, faith isn't meant to be dormant or passive. No, it's a force that has to be released. And how do you release it? Through praying, saying, and doing. It's an active process, you see. It engages your spirit, your mouth, and even your body. Let's zoom in on that second step for a second. Saying. This is absolutely critical. The teaching warns us so strongly about this. Don't pray for one thing and then turn around and speak the complete opposite. A great example they give is praying for your kid's salvation, but then telling your friend, "Oh, I'm just so worried they're never going to get saved." When you do that, it's like you're canceling out your own prayer with your own words. Your words have got to line up with, to confirm, what you're asking for in faith. And this quote, this one really captures that third step perfectly. Doing. The sermon points to that amazing story of the Israelites crossing the Jordan River. Now think about this. At the Red Sea, God parted the water before they stepped in. But here at the Jordan, it was different. The river was flooding, and it did not part until the priests actually put their feet in the water. It's such a powerful picture that shows God is often waiting for us to take that first, tangible step of faith before he reveals the path. So, we have our action plan: pray, say, and do. Got it? But, just like a high-performance engine needs the right kind of fuel to actually run, our faith needs a couple of essential components to be effective for the long haul. The sermon really highlights two key spiritual ingredients, if you will, that have to be combined with faith for it to really work. Okay, first up is patience. The Bible is really specific. It says you inherit the promises through faith and patience. And this isn't about just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. No, this kind of patience means steadfastness. It's that ability to hold on to what you believe without wavering, even when you don't see a single thing happening. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And the second component, which is arguably the most crucial one, is love. Faith, we're told, is energized and works through love. It's like an electrical circuit. If love is missing, the connection is broken, and that power just can't flow.
And this is where that idea of love gets super practical, because it connects directly to forgiveness. The teaching points right to this scripture to show that if you're standing there praying, but you're holding something against someone, you've got to let it go. An unwillingness to forgive, holding on to all that anger and resentment, that will literally short-circuit your faith. It's presented as a non-negotiable condition for seeing your prayers answered.
Okay, so let's recap. We've defined what faith is, the hand that receives. We've laid out the action plan: pray, say, and do. And we've added the fuel: patience and love. So, what happens next? What's the result? What does all this actually look like in action?
Well, here's what it looks like. By faith, Noah built a massive ark when there wasn't a cloud in the sky. By faith, Abraham packed up his entire life to go to a place he'd never even seen. By faith, the walls of Jericho came crumbling down. By faith, Daniel shut the mouths of hungry lions. These aren't just cool stories, you guys. They are real-world case studies of what happens when faith is actively released.
And here's the best part. This is what brings it all back home for you and me. The sermon really drives this point home. The so-called heroes of the faith, they weren't superhuman. They were regular, ordinary, everyday people, just like us. The only thing that set them apart was that they truly, genuinely believed what God promised, and then they had the guts to act on it. They did extraordinary things simply because they decided to use their faith.
So, this whole thing really leaves us with one final challenging thought. According to the Bible, if you're a believer, you've already been given a measure of faith. It's not something you have to work up or go out and find. You already have it. It's in your hands right now. So the only real question left to answer is, what are you going to do with it?